Hi everyone. It is evening and I am on the front porch of the Lula Lounge, and I'm going to be doing, I have a writing gathering on Tuesday. It's called the Steeping Pot, and our prompt last week was ritual. And I didn't know what I was going to write, but I've had this story of something going on in my life for a while, and it sort of came to fruition here. So maybe it's a Lola lesson because it is a continuation of one of my Lola lessons, or maybe it's just a steeping pot writing gathering about something that's happening in my life. I don't know, but if you were here, a cup of tea would be in your hand. The candles would be lit, fairy lights would be going, and we'd be talking about, I guess, ritual. So the healing power of place continued. I think I found another sacred space. I once shared how the environment, the spirits of place, the natural world of the place I called my home for 25 years held me and supported me and loved me through the tumult of my relationship. I called that Lola lesson the healing power of place. I wondered if I would ever find another place where I felt as safe or as held as I once did by the Mississippi River, the Blakeney Park, over the one-lane bridge. And for the past few years, I would go to my backyard and my garden to try and find that holding. And yet, you see, I took the first year after my relationship ended to go and reclaim all the natural environments I had held once so dear, places that had once held me so dear. I returned in a yellow convertible, singing with songs with a friend. To some of them, I went alone to others, spending the day giving thanks and walking the paths I had walked with another, as another, a much different woman than I was becoming. And I did rituals in all those places, connecting with them in a new way, thanking them for their offerings and service to me, and cutting the invisible ties that bound them to me and the one with whom I had once walked those paths. Then I started to walk a new path, one that I had not shared with him, one that led me down a tree-covered trail, by a school and a pickleball court, and a beautiful old oak tree tucked behind a play structure where children and their caregivers every day would come. At first it was just my daily walk. Then I started to sit by the oak and do practices that I had been learning, really having no clue what I was doing. I began to stay longer and sit quieter, doing less and less. As the days went by and the seasons spiraled, I started to notice that I was noticing more around me. I was being called to certain trees, to touch, to hug, to tend to, and make altars at. I began to recognize that the trees were in fact speaking to me, that the critters, be it the albino squirrel or the two black squirrel gatekeepers who met me every time at the entrance to the forest, or the 5 blue jays, or the bright flash of the cardinal that would catch my eye when I least expected it, that they too were all asking me to pay attention. I noticed how my breath became deeper and my nervous system calmer each time I entered, how I missed and longed and craved to go to my path, to my sit spot when I missed a day, how it was the only place I wanted to go when I was sad or lonely or upset. Where once I would have run to a parent and later a partner, I ran to the path to find solace, to soothe my aching heart and my longing soul. This is when I knew that I had found the place that could and would hold my healing heart. As I sat on my rock looking up at my tree, as I closed my eyes and sat in stillness, as I let my emotions flow and compost into the forest floor, as I asked my questions, the trees, the critters, the natural world, the other world answered me, and I listened, and I was in awe at how much I had been missing, not seeing my whole life. And so I have tended to this healing place with care. I bring offerings of flowers and what I call creative sparkles that I leave throughout the forest and at my sit spot. And recently, something unexpectedly magical is happening. Someone is leaving me messages. One day I returned to find all my creative sparkles I had left weeks before in the forest, all now on my sit spot altar. The altar at what I call my ancestors' tree has new offerings of flowers and garlic when I pass by. And just this week, at every special tree I stop and give thanks to, a natural piece of art has been created from things found in the woods. This brings me so much joy that I'm not alone in my caretaking of this beautiful and magical place. There is a human contingent of like-hearted, like-purpose beings partaking in the tending, in the rituals, in the offerings. Where once it was her and I, we are now building a community of reciprocity. I have once again found a place where water meets earth, meets air, that speaks the words, "You are home to my healing heart." And I hold the memories of the land, the river, and the sky that once did, and I give thanks for both. Because I now know that if my essence intermingles gently, graciously, thoughtfully, regularly with an environment's essence, there will be magic. I see it now almost every day. And if I tend to her, she will tend to me. That the healing power of a place lies in that reciprocity. And if that is a truth, and I believe it is, then I am eternally well held. I am home wherever I go. I will tend to my body as I tend to the forest, as I tend to the rivers and lakes and oceans, as I tend to the plains, as I tend to the mountains. And wherever I go, I will create beauty and magic and awe, one offering, one ritual at a time. And for that, I give thanks. Yeah, I hope you find a place where you go to regularly. And every time you do, you just feel well held. And all I ask is that you tend to her as she tends to you. And that's a beautiful ritual. Have a great night.